Howard, sorry. Okay. All right.
There you go.
All
Okay.
yours. Go for it.
Beautiful. Cool. Well, thank you. I don't think the degrees mean nothing at this point in time. It's really every day is a learning day in small business. So I know that I don't know very much every single day. I actually feel like I know less every day at the end of it. And so it's more about inquisitiveness. So we're focused on a lot of litigation AI workflows, so document automation and the litigation intelligence hub is what we've developed from that standpoint. So we use a lot of AI workflows, tools, coupled with integration and automation to help out law firms, and right now working with some insurance companies potentially as well. So I'm here to have an open kind of conversation dialogue with everybody here in terms of there are so many different use cases and there's not a one size fits all recommendation to be able to make because each business is unique and what AI can do and what it can't do. So today AI is not a people replacement by any stretch of the imagination. So if anybody's trying to sell you AI products and says this is 100% perfection, you should definitely not work with them. They're lying to you and they're selling you something that's not possible. So the one thing I believe is, transparency about what AI can do. AI can automate a lot of tedious tasks and can do some quite complex work and get you 80% of the way there, even 90% of the way there, but it needs a human in the loop for review processes today, right? That answer may change in 12 or 18 or 24 months from now, but with the current technology, right, we use AI in our development front. We use Cursor and we've tried Claude, and pretty much my developers have tried almost every tool you could possibly imagine to streamline. And even we haven't fully automated stuff that I like to automate around our DevOps testing and a lot of other processes. And on our go-to-market, we have certain things that we use for AI. So like from development all the way to go-to-market strategy, there's a lot of different use cases, but you know, I kind of want to open up the floor and get everybody's top burning questions that we can try to
Well,
address.
sorry,
And
what? Before we do open the floor, maybe just to give people like to whet their appetite, so to say, maybe describe a little bit how you used AI in your case, so that they get a sort of a picture of
sure.
what's possible, and then we could
Yeah,
open it.
sure. So with the law firms that we're using, so right now our document automation, we hook up into like a lot of data comes in through email and scans and faxes for law firms right now. And so we found a lot of low-hanging fruit around both data entry and extraction from these documents, right? So when data comes in, our system automatically classifies, extracts certain data from those documents, and then pushes it through automatically to their CRM or case management system. So it saves them on average 2 minutes plus per document. And if you're in a litigation firm, you're receiving hundreds, sometimes a mid-sized firm could receive thousands of documents a week. And so you're talking about firms that are either on contingency or even the billable ones are not able to bill out this time associated with the document piece of it. So they're really case constrained. So we alleviate that workflow in order for them to be able to increase their caseload. And then on our litigation intelligence hub, you get medical documents, court documents, bills, depositions, police report, any type of document that comes in, you have all this unstructured data. And so the value and power of AI is taking all this unstructured data, which is our litigation intelligence hub, and then turning it into actionable insights, right? So we build out timelines, medical chronologies, we have custom reporting, custom data extraction. So we can streamline these processes, whether it's personal injury, insurance defense, insurance companies. We work with like family law firms, bankruptcy law firms. So all of them are getting all these different types of documents, and that information needs to get extracted. So I'd say everything is possible at this point in terms of automation. It's really what you can dream of at this point with MCP. I don't know if anybody's familiar with what MCP is,
No,
but it's a
explain.
so MCP, which is it was developed by Anthropic, which is a protocol in order for AI to talk to all sorts of data sets. Normally, like when it started out, your data is kind of siloed, right? So you can't take advantage of all your different data sets and enrich them together in a unified AI model, correct? Now with MCP, MCP standardizes how data is ingested via API. So like, is everybody familiar with what an API connection is?
Probably not everybody. So.
Okay, so API connection in the simplest form is a data pipeline to push data from one software to another software, right? And so MCP standardizes that connectivity to the AI models so it can ingest those data sets. So you can hook up your CRM to, right now, like to ChatGPT, you'll notice in there, there's like a little button for HubSpot. You click it, it turns it on. That has HubSpot has an MCP server set up so that information can go to ChatGPT automatically and you can take advantage of it. Now, ChatGPT only allows you to do these connections via deep research at the moment from what I've seen. I think Claude from Anthropic allows you to go ahead and take advantage of it and just do normal querying and searching versus like, deep research takes a lot of time. But overall, so I'm an expert in legal and medical documents at this point in time and bills and taking all that unstructured data and turning it into actionable insights across the legal space, medical space, and so that's kind of our current focus.
So you had to, in order for you to be able to do that, basically, you had to develop custom software to enable that?
We have workflows that we've developed, so the workflows are custom built out, but we're leveraging application like AI, right? We're using Gemini, OpenAI, and other models in order to take all this data and turn it into actionable insights. So we are not building out custom models. We do some light fine tuning of these models for different data sets in order to make sure, like for our document automation, we need a certain amount of accuracy. So like our targeted accuracy in general is like, call it 92 to 96%, depending on the type of document, right? Court documents are really easy and pretty well structured. But when you start getting other like bank statements and stuff like that, it can train into the lower 90s. And we have lots of other many pieces of, like, we do a big PDF breakout. Somebody loads in 7,000 pages, we can automatically break it out into its minor components. And there's different pain points and use cases that we're solving for our clients. So at the end of the day, you become an expert in both integrations and data extraction from this unstructured data and being able to return, high quality answers in order to make those decisions. Because at the end of the day, for our clients, they're trying to make decisions quickly. So we're taking decision making from 2 weeks down to 10 minutes. That's incredible, right? They used to not be able to get what we're delivering to them, for weeks, and they're waiting on humans for that. Now, nothing is ever perfect, right? So I have a firm belief in auditability. So everything that we do, we provide an audit trail to where that data has come from. And so they can review that and say, yeah, that's good. No, that's not good, right? And so we have these processes in place in order to make sure that there are some guardrails that everybody can look at. So that's kind of like my area of expertise. I consult, like, I've been in the oil and gas space. That was my previous company I co-founded. So Exxon runs their entire lower 48 operations on the platform I developed along with 350 other energy companies. So I do consulting for AI in the oil and gas and energy space. And, I also talk to a bunch of other business owners as well in the Houston community locally, because there's not as many startup companies in my space.
So before we move it towards opening up the floor for people to ask questions, let's what's the word I'm trying to use here? Let's extract. In other words, you've taken AI and you've trained it on the legal space and on the medical space, using particular data set. If someone is a lot of, at least with CHY, a lot of our people that are on, I don't know everybody that's on here today, they're small business owners. Okay. And they're not necessarily looking to hire a consultant. They just want to like play around with existing tools and see how it will upgrade their business. What are some of the things you're seeing people taking AI out of the box with and enhancing their businesses with nowadays?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it is around, whether it's data entry, right? It could be like, I think you kind of, let's break a business up into kind of pieces, right? There's like sales and marketing. Depending on your go-to-market motion and how you need to market to companies, you can create content, right? Content creation is a really simple, easy use case, right? You can take your own, you can record a video of yourself and then build out a script and basically uh, have an AI twin and start leveraging that. That's a great way. If you're a domain, especially for domain experts that want to crank out a lot of content, that's a pretty good investment, right? So content creation, whether it's an AI twin, whether it's creating like articles and content and marketing materials that are value added for the third parties that you're trying to attract, that will also help you rank better in like searches like Perplexity, right? You guys, if you're a small business owner and you've spent a lot of money in SEO, I would be very cautious about spending lots more money in SEO and start looking at the AI optimization engine for companies like Perplexity and ChatGPT and how you're going to rank higher. Because like I don't use Google search anymore personally at all, right? I'm using AI to search and do research for me. And so if you want to rank much higher, now you've got a whole different strategy that you better attack. And if you think SEO is going to be the main thing, that's just not going to be very likely, very powerful in 12 to 24 months, depending on your industry, right? In the legal space, people still use Google search, right? But like for technology and all these other types of services, like younger people are most definitely leveraging AI to do their web searching. So that's sales and marketing high level, right? So we spoke about that. There's the operational component of your business, right? And the operational component of your business in terms of like that's very dependent on what it is, right? If you're in medical, you can do automated validations of insurance at this point, right? So if you're a doctor, you can leverage AI to do outbound calls for insurance verification, because I'm assuming you have issues with insurance, reimbursements, and all this other stuff, right? So like that's just one example of for doctors, right? And then if you're in construction, estimates, right? How do you do those estimates? What could you do to use those estimates? That's kind of leveraging potentially some computer vision models in order to go ahead and like look at what a remodel estimate would look like, right? So that's another operational piece of it as well. If you're a service business and you have domain expertise, like accounting, for instance, if you're in accounting, you have a lot of recurring journal entries that you're making every single month for a company. Well, you should be able to automate that into QuickBooks or into Xero or whatever accounting system you're using. So that's kind of high level operational side of things. For HR, if it's a big bottleneck, obviously you can do certain things to automate, filling out of forms if you need to as well. Well, you got customer success for videos and leveraging AI to like go ahead and search and query if you're running software company, right? Like to query all your information and be able to return those answers to people so you don't have to get random calls from folks. So those are just some of the ways I would think about it from like a business perspective. And then structurally in terms of how do like everything to me is about experimentation, but experimentation with ROI. So like I don't do anything just because it's interesting or whatever. I'm going to identify the top 10 problems of my business. What's the implication of deploying AI if it solves that problem? What's my ROI associated with this? So I can be very focused on what I'm doing because everything is prioritization for me, right? So any business owner is going to prioritize their problems, right? Like, what does my current process look like? What does my dream case process look like? And choose the top 1, 2, or 3 high leverage items to attack from like a framework perspective, and then start knocking them off one by one. Because as small business owners and doing this now already a second time, building software company from scratch, like everything is about, you only have so many hours per week to accomplish your tasks. So like finding those highest bang for buck tasks that you can automate is the mission critical thing. So that's kind of how I think about how I would focus my attention on what AI products to start using from a business perspective. I don't know,
Okay.
hopefully that was helpful.
Yes, let's open it up now. I mean, so many of you that are on over here. Does anyone want to unmute themselves and share like what area of their business they're looking to explore, how to optimize with AI?
I don't mind going first.
Okay, go ahead, Shlomi.
Okay, so I'm in the I guess the clothing business. We create our own shapewear in China. We import it. We carry a warehouse. Most of our business is online, but we're also going after retail too. What I think would help us a lot is that even though we have our own inventory portal, to somehow use AI to generate like on a weekly basis what we have like over 300 SKUs. What are the top selling items, the top selling colors, the top selling sizes, so we can figure out to move faster to try to replace the things that sell and then get rid of the stuff that's not selling.
Yes. Where do you keep that data located?
So we have we had an IT person who created an inventory portal for us. All the customers that buy from us, their orders go through the system, and the inventory is taken off for every single order that's placed.
No, I understand that. Is the system on premises or on-prem or in the cloud?
I have no clue.
Got it.
So do you have a server or is it a website?
It's I guess it must be a server then, because it's not. I mean, I have access to it, but the IT person controls it.
Yeah. So is custom built software to manage your inventory right now?
Yeah.
Definitely get out. So you have one person that's concentrated that knows everything about your system and that's it?
Basically, yes.
Yeah, you should definitely not do that very much longer. So that's number one. I'd find like make sure you understand how you can get access. I'm assuming I don't know where the data is located, but if you have a website, I'm assuming it has to be connected to the website. So your inventory, or is it manually you're updating your inventory manually in this?
Okay, so more, let me clarify. Our website is not our main business. It's more like to be there. We are selling on third-party platforms like TJ Maxx is called Target, Nordstrom. We sell to these clients. Their orders go into our system. Once everything gets shipped through ShipStation, everything gets into the system and gets taken off their orders, off the inventory.
But manually, somebody's manually.
Yes, yeah. I guess our logistics partner is entering all the orders as they go through automatically. I mean, every single time he processes an order and uploads a tracking number, then it gets deducted.
Yeah, you should. That process in and of itself should be automated. First and foremost, you need to get access to the data, right? Like I would migrate that to the cloud and then into some like whatever. There's got to be some very relatively budget-friendly software you can use to do that. Because I imagine the IT person in and of itself, you pay money just to maintain this software. Am I correct? Yeah. So I would go ahead and like do some research on the software side of what you can do, migrate the data to the cloud, and then exactly through the MCP protocol, you can, and like most of these companies will have an API, right? The application, like to be able to put, the automation for data extraction, right? And you can build an MCP server really easy for that. And then you'd be able to communicate with the data, hey, what's my weekly stuff? But like, you don't even need AI for that at this point in time. You should be able to have a dashboard within your software for the SKUs that are selling. I mean, that's a basic Power BI, right? You could hook up your data set even today, like you could hook it up to Power BI and run a weekly report for the SKUs that are selling, right? So that can be done today without AI. Like that's not necessarily I wouldn't like you're just looking for a dashboard and analytics, and AI can certainly do that, but it does. I don't necessarily think that would incrementally add so much more value unless you need to ask some really complex queries or do some more complicated work with it. But in terms of like benchmarking and doing all that, you would do that through some sort of business intelligence tool like Power BI hooked up to your software.
What does BI stand for? Business intelligence. Okay, right.
Yeah, Power BI is a Microsoft product, super cheap, really powerful product, easy to set up, easy to ingest data into. Like that's just like a simple solution. I think that could help some of your current
So
situation.
one last question, Jeremy.
Yes.
Could AI tell me what is the best-selling items on my competition if I gave them the competition's names?
Say that one more time.
Could AI tell me the top-selling items from my competition if I give them the competition's names?
Not just with that generic prompt. You need to do some deep. It depends on like how they're selling and if that data is exposed or not, right? Like I'm not sure exactly what data is exposed. If it's through Amazon, you should be able to benchmark that data potentially to some degree. But if it's like, I'm not sure, like at the end of the day, you have to scrape data, correct? If the data is available for scraping somewhere, then the answer is yes. If it's not, then the answer will be no. So it depends if it's somehow publicly available somewhere.
Okay. Fair enough.
By the way, that
Understood.
brought up, by the way, Jeremy, I don't know, I forgot if in your intro you spoke about this. One of the powerful things that a lot of people are using AI for now is competition research. Like it's opening up a lot of windows for people understanding how their competitors operate.
Yeah, you can definitely do that. I mean, you can scrape the data from their website and certain things, and you can scrape posts and see what's top performing around their posts and how they're, potentially how they're selling and do a lot of sophisticated work around that. The answer is yes, totally. You can build out a 360. I don't, at the end of the day, I don't. There's something around competitors that you can control and you definitely want to have visibility into, and then other things you don't control. So I don't personally worry about competition as much. But mostly it's because I'm so focused on what we're doing and listening to the customers. Like they're gonna do what they're gonna do, right? There's nothing I can change from that standpoint. But like that's for me, right? For you, you may need to learn something that I don't, like for software purposes, a little bit different from that standpoint, right? So,
all right, I want to move it along over here. So you know what, actually, on the chat window to make things move a little faster, anyone that would like to talk about their business and get Jeremy's perspective on AI for your business, you could raise your hand. This way I'll see who's interested. I'll call you, and this way no one calls. No, I don't mean raise your hand physically. I mean there's a button in the chat where you could do a raise hand. This way I'll see how many people. But I see Opa is raising his hand physically, so go for it. You could go first.
Yes, hi. My name is Meir Schwartz. I live in Montreal, and I've done a lot of text generation, including writing biographies with AI. I don't believe that AI is perfect, obviously, certainly not nowadays yet. So I have to personalize and tweak some of the text that they generate, but I think in general terms, they came out quite well. What I'm looking for, though, is, and I would like to learn QuickBooks. I have some knowledge of QuickBooks. I have an economics background. People are telling me that if I know QuickBooks, I also need to know Excel. And the question is, I mean, I have certain knowledge of Excel, but I don't think I have I'm not an accountant, so I don't have the knowledge of an accountant how to apply Excel to QuickBooks. Is there any way to automate or to identify, if you will, certain Excel functions, which are the most applicable functions to QuickBooks, especially reports, obviously, that's what it would be, inputting data into QuickBooks and integrating it with Excel?
yeah, I mean, AI can transform your data. I haven't tried it before, but you can ask for it step-by-step instructions for what you want to accomplish both in QuickBooks and Excel. And it will give you step-by-step instructions on how to do that. And AI can also, like ChatGPT, can transform your data, right, as well. I haven't tried it, right? So you have to test it around to see if it can make it into a upload form that is easy to digest from QuickBooks. But imagine that ChatGPT already can search all of the QuickBooks help information and provide you those answers. So the answer is yes. And you just ask it what do you want to do, give it some examples, take some screenshots, and it should be able to give you some step-by-step instructions on it.
Just to add,
can you automate that? Sorry to interrupt you. Can you automate that process?
Well, maybe this
I mean-
this is what I was just going to say. But I use QuickBooks Online for CHYU. We have a and QuickBooks already has AI baked in. Like you could use AI within QuickBooks. They're offering it, so you should look into that as a possibility. I know there's definitely a lot of these things that are going on. They're happening. Anything that nowadays, anything that's to take, every business is trying to make things easier for people. Everyone's incorporating AI, and QuickBooks has already put it inside. It's baked into QuickBooks. Okay, Yaakov Rabinowitz, I see that you raised your hand. Go for it.
Hi, so I have a company, brand new, just starting, that does helps therapists apply for licensing applications. And so for me, I think I have a better sense of what I would want AI to do. But my question is more focused on, at what point, how much off the shelf, kind of software can you use with things like Lindy and kind of these AI agent companies, and where do you, at what point do you need to start putting things to yourself, or paying, kind of a company like what you run to create custom solutions for things like, kind of automating the process of filling out paperwork, or kind of plugging that into, kind of government website portals, and then things like marketing, like, kind of putting out, emails and making posts on LinkedIn and things like that.
So, few questions. So first, let's focus on the Lindy AI one in terms of like AI agents, correct? I think really there's more of a function of like cost and scalability issues that if you run into it, we don't build like we're not necessarily, I wouldn't call, we're not custom solution, right? We're like we can have 5,000 law firms on our platform in 2 seconds, right? And we have those, the use case for that. And just like Lindy, you can do customization of your workflows, just like Lindy, right? Lindy is AI agent customization. I think it's more there's plenty of platforms like Lindy AI for AI agent building that will get you pretty far, correct? There's N8N and a bunch of stuff that you can really build much more bespoke stuff. And like, are you familiar with N8N at all? Yeah, okay. I had it. So like, I think it really depends on the workflow you want to accomplish. And then at the end of the day, like, how do you measure? Like, the biggest thing with the AI agents is like, how are you going to measure success, right? And the outputs, and making sure you're able to do that. But there will be questions around like scalability and cost. And that at that point in time, you may want to like, figure out something else. But for early on, like these platforms are fantastic for prototyping and getting you to a good spot, right? At the later point, if you want to custom build your own AI agents, which you can totally do, I think it's just really looking at how much the cost of ownership would be for that. Now, on like the marketing side of things, I mean, that's something I would be using AI for in general, like just first swag at marketing materials or certain things that I want to get done from a website perspective. I literally built a website, not my current one, but like just I was playing around with an app. I built a pretty amazing website in 30 seconds, literally at 30 seconds, right? Probably.
On which platform?
I used Bolt, Bolt. You can build entire applications literally in like minutes. Now, called vibe coding, right? Now, website is one thing. Building a real entire like application that's scalable is a whole different discussion. But you can build prototype apps really quickly now with automated programming. But yeah, I would be using the marketing stuff for filling out forms, whatever, especially government stuff. Like you definitely need human in the loop to like review that and make sure everything is clean. But like if it does 90% of the work, right, then you can eliminate a lot of that. So I think you have like a good strategy in terms of what you're trying to accomplish. That's
okay. Zalman, go for it.
Hey, I appreciate it, Rabbi. Good afternoon, Jeremy. So I work at a company that processes a few million transactions a year, totaling a few $1 billion. And basically, we currently use quite a bit of AI, but what we found is that the AI needs to be given very exact tasks, right? So kind of like, the way I put it is it kind of replaces a In the US, it would replace a $30,000 to $50,000 a year employee very easily, right?
Mm-hmm.
The second needs to be a little bit smarter. So we had like stuff that were like, we had people on our team that were like, manually pulling data from here, searching a database for transactions. So like in one case, we even did something where like we connected like our API to Zapier and then added a little bit of AI to like query, look at a document, find the transaction number, search our database, and it works like 99.9% of the time. Like this cut out maybe 2-3 hours of manual work a day. But my question really is, would it be possible with AI to give it ideas, like set up like more of like an agent, give it ideas of like what fraud smells like, right? Or what fraud looks like, and then have it learn and then come back and say a month, or in our case, we could feed it with millions of past transactions and say like, hey, here's 20 examples of fraud, right? What can you find that would indicate possible fraud, and then sort of train itself to get smarter? I mean, people, the AI maximalists out there say that AI could do all of that, but every time I've tried, it's come back with a bunch of gobbledygook. Like it's not like
Yeah. So like this one is a very deep technical one, and I know I have some ideas around it, but I just hired a CTO from LexisNexis I stole one of their people. He's coming to work with us in August. I can ask him in more detail. So I think the AI agents is like you have to define the different types of fraud in general. Like if you have one AI agent say, look for fraud and here are all these examples, right? I don't think that gives you accurate response because you're trying to do too much with AI, correct? So you need to have like at least some completeness of like an AI agent. It's just like it's kind of what we're doing on our drafting. Like I can't just give one agent and just be like draft the entire document, right? You haven't a fraud agent for XYZ, and then you have an orchestrator. What you could do, that's a very technical discussion that I'd even be asking much more depth around, like somebody who's got significantly more detailed technical expertise on fraudulent transaction, because there's a lot to unpack. But if you just had one AI agent trying to look for everything, I don't that's unlikely. So I don't know how much you can get around completeness because people are constantly trying to do new things. So there's you could have a pattern recognition agent. Like my guess is you have all these different types of fraudulent agents, and then you have a pattern recognition agent that flags stuff that may not be part of the standard traditional stuff that's captured by it, right? You have a few agents that are more of the problem is fraud is edge case scenario, correct? And edge cases are the biggest problem with AI in the future and currently, which is the complexity that you're running into. 90% of the transactions or 99% of transactions are good, right? Or whatever that number is. Some probability is good.
Yeah.
So then you're looking for edge cases, and the problem with AI is it's terrible on edge cases. But you can build out AI agents that are looking for all those different types, and then you add more to your agents as you see things that haven't been picked up. But I generally would say in order to pick up those edge cases, then I would have a pattern recognition and different types of agents that are more looking for that have more freedom to look for stuff, coupled with these more specific AI agents. So that's kind of conceptually the way I would do it. And then also this is also machine learning. AI is part of machine learning, but there's also algorithmic approaches, right, as well to that, where you get these deviations, right, as well. So I think it's a combination of mathematical machine learning algorithms coupled with the AI agents to really try to do all those together. But I can circle up and ask a few people around that. It's an interesting problem, and I don't think any.
All right, I'll connect you, the two of you, outside of this. Okay, we have Al.
Can I ask one more question?
Let me circle back to you because there's three other people with their hands up. Al Fogel, go for it.
Hi, Jeremy. Thanks for the time. Much appreciated. I happen to be a small part of a small practice, a law practice,
Mhm.
and I appreciate the fact that you mentioned what you mentioned. I think we started using AI in general. Some of it is, I think it's too much information being thrown at us all at the same time. Some by an IT person, some by someone else, something by someone else. I think I know Westlaw and Lexis is targeting the bigger firms. I can understand the practices that you mentioned being perfect. The smaller firms, what we're doing is over and over and over again, is the amount of time that we're spending just doing, very minimal tasks that take enormous amount of time, whether it's pleadings, whether it's documents, whether it's letters, et cetera, that can easily be automated. But I don't think we're getting the right person to come in and actually help us with that, because we have about 4 different practice areas that we're covering all at the same time. I mean, different areas, but that's what we're doing. So I mean, I can obviously get your contact information, but I would like to know from you is more about, for the smaller practices, for the smaller law firms, or even a smaller medical practice, what can AI offer that's out there that can make our life a lot easier to deal with overall?
I mean, it just really depends. What's your top 3 pain points? And that's what I would focus on. Like, what do you want to solve for yourself versus the generic approach? Really targeted. What do you, in your business, if you could alleviate these 3 top pains that you have are spending time on right now, what would they be?
That's easy. I mean, essentially, if our paralegals or secretaries are focused, let's say we have personal injury work, if our paralegals are focused on more on, the clerical work, and we're trying to get to pleadings, bills of particulars, which is the medical packages and things of that sort, so we can move our cases along a lot quicker, that would be helpful, because the amount of time that's essentially being wasted on clerical work is enormous, and then interactions with clients as well, or insurance carriers, or things of that sort. So it's a very group, and obviously the type of case it is. For a case that has a minimum policy, it just the amount of time we're not going to spend on it, because it's just not worth it, and the client's aware of it. So that's the issue.
That's we can talk about the whole tech stack that, in terms of like outbound calling, inbound AI automation, right? You can have an AI inbound agent, right? That is like managing your phone calls and intake, and then automatically sends out contracts. We can talk. This is a deep discussion. I'm happy to kind of, because that's what I'm playing in. I can kind of give you some guidance on
But
that.
it's the smaller practices, smaller law firms. Let's say the 1
Doesn't
to
matter.
5 man law firms versus 20 and above. I can
There's no
understand in the
difference.
larger practices, it's a whole different ballgame.
There's no, like, AI has leveled the playing field right now. I
Right.
have this is the
All right,
opportunity.
so you know what? Let's Al, email me. I'll connect you to Jeremy. You take
No
this in
problem.
depth offline, just because time is ticking here. We still have some more hands up in the air.
Thank you so much.
Max, go for it. What's your question? Max, did we lose you? All right, while we're waiting for him. Oh, you're here? Are you there? Oh, okay, sir. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, so I just got a few questions here, just about using for programming and debugging, like as a non-programmer. Is that really possible? I really need to know like a basics of coding to.
I think you can do it if you have the energy to like if you have the energy to like get into it and spend the time. It's the vibe coding is tough, but and it's always good to learn the basics of it. But I mean, that's a hard one. I think if you're gonna do it, this is the time to learn how to build with it, and you can just copy and paste screenshots and figure out where your bugs are. Cursor is pretty powerful for doing that.
Cursor?
Yes, Cursor.
It's called
What's
Cursor?
that? Cursor.ai? What is it?
Yeah, I think it's cursor.ai. It's just I just know it as Cursor.
Cursor, okay.
All right.
What about plugging into like external applications? Like what do you recommend for that? Because ChatGPT doesn't strictly is online unless you use the API. I mean, I'm not sure how that works, because like I'm supposed to use Microsoft Visual Studio to do the code, and that plugs in.
You can plug in, I think you can plug Cursor in. Cursor is its own IDE as well, and then Claude Code I think can hook into like Visual Studio and GitHub Copilot.
Okay, and about other external third-party applications, those, I mean, the Claude and Cursor are pretty flexible for that?
I mean, when you say third party, like you can hook stuff up through MCP with Cursor, I believe, as well right now.
With MCP? Oh, this is the protocol that you're using. That's
Yeah.
okay, fine. And how would you use it for like market research? Like, is it stream? Like, if I want to access a certain website, like I don't know, sometimes that I put a a query in, and it just doesn't it doesn't get me what I'm looking for. So
Like you can do deep research on that. You have to play around with that on the competition, but generally deep research is what I would use for being able to do market research.
you recommend Claude over Chad or
No, they both have strengths and weaknesses, so
Mhm.
that's I
Somebody
mean,
just posted the Cursor website on the chat, so you can
Okay,
copy it
good.
from there. All right, Steve, go for it.
Thank you very much. My company is Action Coach. I'm a business coach. I work with small, medium-sized business owners, help them get their businesses working more so they can enjoy more life. So we've been trying to really incorporate a lot of AI and to help them become more efficient. One of the things I found is it's with any types of computer is garbage in, garbage out, right? So you have to know how to ask the right questions. So I have a couple of different things is where's the best place to go to do it? I've just learned over the months of trial and error, but I have there was somebody that had a question on spreadsheets. I've even asked it to say, here's the data and create me a spreadsheet to analyze this and to put together the whole spreadsheet with all the formulas in it and stuff. But my real question behind that is if you put up financial data for it to analyze and do things, what's the security issues that are putting that type of maybe
Yeah.
sensitive information up there?
I mean, if you put in financial information that's like confidential, it's going, and you don't have, and you're not into enterprise grade, then that's going to it's training off of that. So and it could regurgitate it. So I
So
would.
that was, by the way, let me just say that so that everybody here gets that very clearly. If you're not paying for the enterprise ChatGPT, basically you put private information about your company in there, it becomes public basically. That's basically, it's very important. You should know that for all of you that are using. So go ahead, continue. Sorry.
Yeah,
Steve,
but if you go in and just put data without any reference to any business, it's just raw data. Could there still be some security issues in there? I mean, most of these are small businesses that, the security isn't that, but it's still sensitive information.
I wouldn't put any sensitive information unless you're on an enterprise grade version to any of
Okay.
these things. Period. You have like anything can happen, and that's kind of where I'll leave it.
Perfect. Thank you.
okay, Bela Steinberg, are you still on? You had some questions. Do you want to ask those?
Yes, I am. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, sorry. I have a couple of questions. One of them is there a problem, let's say if you're doing content creation for plagiarizing, like because whatever they're going to spin out there, can you use the information verbatim or do you have to alter it? That's number one. Number two, when you're doing content creation, what is the best? Because I see that my phone and my computer, they're all different. What's the best way to format using some kind of a creative graphic format, right? If I want nice graphics, I want to put together, let's say, workshops, or I want to put together newsletters, whatever it is. So what would be the best for the graphics and for the graphic formatting if I want lists or a like some kind of a sheet that would be like a one-stop shop for self-help, whatever it is. Okay, and also the plagiarism, like how much can we take on there and not be sued for plagiarizing?
I don't like that's more of a like a legal question around the plagiarism.
Yeah.
I don't think I would opine on that personally, but if something gets spit out, I mean, I always adjust stuff from ChatGPT or wherever if I'm doing content creation. For me, it's more for idea generation and getting 80 to 90% there. So I do that.
Okay.
In terms of like graphic generation, I don't spend tons of time on that. So like you can try like different products for it. I think you can generate some stuff in ChatGPT and Claude. There are some. It depends on what you're trying to do. There's definitely some graphic generation AI tools that are pretty robust. I forget what it was called. I used one a long time ago, but we use certain things on like product side. My product manager uses for front eye UI UX generation, but I don't know enough about those, about the actual design that I've been doing. Like there's definitely plenty of, I forget what it was called though. There's one tool. They're all sitting on top of AI, the standard AI platforms, but they fine tune them to get the graphics outputted. But I always recommend putting a human touch on anything from like general content creation, except for like email marketing is going to be,
Right.
slightly more cookie cutter, but that's a whole nother discussion.
Because even sometimes they'll generate a picture, but some of these photographs you have to pay for them. So if they're getting them from anywhere on the internet.
No, usually they generate their own pictures. They're not taking, when AI makes a picture, they make it.
Oh, yeah?
They're taking the information that they know from the web, but it's making it custom. It's not copying a picture that it saw somewhere else. It actually
Okay.
makes it original. I don't think, I mean, I'm not the lawyer on here over here, but I think when AI gives you answers to questions, they're not copying. They might be quoting from other places, but it's their own text that it generated. They're not plagiarizing. It's not plagiarizing. Okay. Oh yeah, sorry, go ahead.
One more thing. So let's say, for example, I want to put together, let's say I'm doing a workshop or I'm doing whatever, and I want to put together a formatted list of numbers and bullet points, et cetera, like to have a nice formatting. What would be the best AI for that?
I mean, ChatGPT does good outputs in general for the formatting, but I haven't really messed around with the formatting or outputs of a lot of it. I haven't done Gemini too much. We use a lot of Gemini and OpenAI for the medical chronologies for processing it, but all of my outputs tend to be, custom.
Okay, thank you.
All right. So we're coming up on the top of the hour here. So this has been an excellent conversation. There's a lot to unpack over here. As you can see from this over here, there's so many areas of AI, like there's the graphics and there's the websites and there's the data and it's a whole entire world and there's so much to discuss. And so God willing, we'll arrange future webinars on this. I want to thank Jeremy for giving up his time. And if people want to contact you, Jeremy, how would they reach out to you?
I'll put my email in the chat. Jeremy at Veritec, veritec.ai is my email address.
Okay. Thank you. Good to wish you everyone a wonderful afternoon. Enjoy your summer. And next month's topic is we're jumping topics. Next month, we're going to be focusing on, for those of you that are in the product world, if you're thinking of building a physical product, how do you prototype? How do you come up with the product? So next month, it's going to be ABCs of product development. So for those of you interested, we'll see you then. Have a wonderful week and month.
Thank you very much.
Yes, all the best.
It was very good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you. See ya. Bye.